From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
A Hamilton County church is using their platform in the community to fight against inequality. Thanks for joining us here at 11 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. Recent protests over social injustice have led I-Town Church in Fishers to use ministry to educate and help their congregation to act as allies in the fight for change. WRTV's Troy Washington has this story.
We recently, all of us as a nation, have become more aware and more focused on the fact that we live in a culture that truly isn't as equal as we'd like to believe that it is.
But being a part of the solution is more than just saying things, it's about doing things.
That thought alone is what led Pastor Dave and Kate Summerall to dedicate an entire series.
Divided we fall, we're in this thing together, and this thing is called life.
To the cause of breaking the cycle.
Generationally, we have to break that cycle, especially as parents, and the different things that have obviously been ingrained into children in the homes that create the imbalance racially that we see in the culture around us.
This church is trying to get to the root of the real problem plaguing America.
As we began to look across the landscape of our own church, we didn't have the diversity that would really reflect what heaven should look like. And so we began to systematically make changes that just very intentionally represent everybody from every culture and background so that everyone feels equally loved and celebrated.
It's a topic some church leaders have been shy about touching, but I-Town Church thinks the discussion is necessary to make sure progress prevails.
We began to examine not just American culture, but church culture. We realized that there are some things that just give certain people advantages. And unfortunately, some of those advantages come simply because of the color of their skin.
The series is about embracing our differences instead of using them to tear one another down.
Every single race has just different backgrounds, different perspectives, and different stories.
These two say it's important for us to acknowledge when we haven't walked in someone else's shoes.
I think one of the reasons why it's so important that we address this is because white people don't understand in America what it means to be a minority. We've never had that experience. And so what this environment has created is the opportunity for us to have conversations. That's one of the first things we did.
And the importance of acting as an ally.
I believe that heaven is going to be full of that diversity. I believe the body of Christ should be full of that diversity.
Because there's nothing better than just having an advocate in your life. And so, just like if there's a child being bullied, no matter the color of their skin, I want my children to come alongside that person.
And our nation desperately needs healing, and we desperately need change.
Working for you in Fishers, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you. Another violent weekend across the Circle City. By our count, at least 11 people have been shot in Indianapolis since Friday afternoon, and at least 4 of the victims have died. The latest deadly shooting happening just a short time ago. You are looking at live pictures right now from the 500 block of North Tremont. We do know that 1 person is dead, but we are still waiting for more details tonight from Metro Police. Make sure to stay tuned to Good Morning Indiana for any updates on this developing story. 2 separate deadly shootings happened last night, including this one near 38th Street and North College Avenue. Metro Police say a man with gunshot wounds was found in a car that had been involved in a crash. The man died at the hospital. His name has not been released, and detectives believe he was shot before the crash. Less than an hour after the incident at 38th and College, Metro Police found another man suffering from a gunshot wound on the sidewalk in the 800 block of West 29th Street. He later died, and his identity has not been released. This reminder now starting tomorrow, Marion County will ease some COVID-19 restrictions, but not at the same level as the state of Indiana, which moved to stage 5 this weekend. In Marion County, restaurants and bars will be able to seat people inside at 50% capacity, with outside seating expanding to 100%. Dance floors and bar tops will remain closed. Establishments must close their doors at midnight. Live entertainment can resume, but with restrictions, including a 10-foot buffer between the stage and the audience. Mayor Hogsett says more help is also on the way for struggling businesses impacted by restrictions during the pandemic. Millions of dollars in COVID-19 relief grant money will soon be available. We are expecting an announcement with more details coming up this week. The state health department reports 3 more deaths. 3,354 Hoosiers have now died with COVID-19. More than 117,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. More than 2 million tests have been administered in Indiana. Now to your forecast as we are wrapping up a nice weekend. Meteorologist Kyle Mount standing by now. Hi, Kyle.
Yeah, Nicole, we are tracking some big changes here, and you've already got some of those changes going on over the northwestern portions of the area. We've had some areas of rain. Most of that has moved out for now. Northern Carroll County, though, still dealing with a little bit of a shower here. There is more rain back to the west, and that will be sliding our way here as we go through the overnight. Models coming in generally about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch of rain potential. We'll kind of map that out in more detail coming up in a little bit. Temperatures, they are mild out there tonight. We're in the 60s to around 70 degrees as we still have that south breeze for us. But tomorrow morning, grab that umbrella. We are going to have some showers. Temperatures right around 60 degrees.
Kyle, thank you. 7 years later, and an Indianapolis family is still hoping that someone will help them find their loved one. Jessica Masker disappeared in 2013. Today, her family gathered at Christian Park in Indianapolis, as they've done before, to post flyers. Masker was last seen in the area of South Emerson Avenue and East Washington Street on April 15th, 2013. Their goal today and every day is to keep reminding people that despite the fact that it's been 7 years, they are still holding on to hope, and they need the community's help finding her.
I want her to know not to give up, because we have not gave up yet. So just know that we all love you. We all care about you. We have not stopped looking at all. We will not stop until you're home. My sister didn't just leave on her own, and whatever has happened or wherever she is, I just want her to know that we still got her. We still got her back, and we will never give up hope.
Well, Jessica's family says she was using drugs and in an abusive relationship before she disappeared. She was just 24 years old at the time. If you know anything about what happened to Jessica, call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. A man whose car went into a retention pond on the northeast side managed to get out safely, but sadly that is not how this story ended. The man died after trying to help a tow truck driver retrieve the car. Indianapolis fire officials say the man and the tow truck driver entered the pond early this morning in the 4000 block of Pendleton Way. They were trying to hook up his car to the tow when for some reason the man became agitated and distressed. The tow truck driver told investigators the man almost pulled him under the water, so the driver got out of the pond and called the fire department. Crews arrived, and while they were able to pull the man out of the pond, he did not survive. His name has not been released. Tonight, Libertarian presidential candidate Dr. Jo Jorgensen made a campaign stop in Indiana. She spoke to voters in Westfield at Grand Park Sports Complex. It's part of her national Real Change for Real People campaign tour. Jorgensen is a full-time senior lecturer in psychology at Clemson University. Previously, she worked as a marketing rep for IBM and eventually started her own software sales business in South Carolina.
It's really nothing special about my background. It's just a love for this country that was instilled in me from my grandparents, because we do have freedom and that we should be making our own decisions. And that's what I want to do. Is what I've been telling people is you know best what's best for you, not the politicians and bureaucrats in Washington, that you should be making your own decision how to spend your money, what kind of school to send your kid to, what kind of health care you get, what kind of retirement system you get, and of course whether or not you wear a mask.
Are you going to close down the door?
Jorgensen says she is pushing to make individual freedom in America a major issue in this election. She previously ran for Congress in 1992 in South Carolina's 4th District, and she was the Libertarian Party vice presidential nominee with Harry Brown in the 1996 election. Let WRTV be your central source for all you need to know before November 3rd. Go to our Vote in 2020 digital section. You'll find everything you need to know there, including who's on your ballot, where you can vote and when, how early voting works and when it starts, what mailing in your vote looks like, and any other questions you might have this election season. Keep a tab open at WRTV.com/vote in 2020. A bombshell report just released. The New York Times says President Trump did not pay taxes in 10 out of 15 years, and that's just one shocking revelation. Up next, the president's response.
The Colts leave little doubt about this one. The Jets aren't very good, but Indy looking good and improving to 2-1 on the season. I'm Brad Brown at Lucas Oil Stadium with a Week 3 recap.
Now to a bombshell report just weeks ahead of the presidential election. The New York Times reporting President Trump did not pay taxes for 10 out of 15 years before taking office in 2016. And he paid just $750 in both 2016 and 2017. Tonight, the president responding to those allegations. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
The president's elusive tax returns have been in question for years, but now the New York Times reports it's obtained more than 2 decades of tax return data for him and his business. According to the paper, the president paid no income taxes at all in 10 out of the 15 years before he took office, largely because he allegedly reported losing more money than he made. The president denying those accusations.
Totally fake news. No, actually, I paid tax, and you'll see that as soon as my tax returns. It's under audit.
The Times says the information was obtained from sources with legal access to it. ABC News has not seen those documents, which also reportedly show he paid just $750 in federal income taxes in 2016, and again his first year in the White House. When asked repeatedly how much he has paid in federal taxes, President Trump refused to say.
First of all, I paid a lot, and I paid a lot of state income taxes.
In the past, he has boasted about beating the system.
I have legally used the tax laws to my benefit and to the benefit of my company, my investors, and my employees. I mean, honestly, I have brilliantly used those laws.
The self-proclaimed millionaire is hemorrhaging cash, according to the news outlet. And revenue from The Apprentice is running out. And within the next 4 years, more than $300 million in loans for which he is personally responsible come due. The Times reports lobbyists and foreign officials paid top dollar at Trump properties like his Mar-a-Lago resort and Washington hotel, transactions that could be seen as conflicts of interest as the president did not divest from those businesses when taking office.
It'll all be revealed. It's going to come out. But after the auditors, they're doing their assessment. We've been negotiating for a long time.
The paper says profits at Mar-a-Lago rose after Trump announced his candidacy, with the president bringing in $6 million in initiation fees for the exclusive club in 2016. In a statement to ABC News, the Trump Organization says in part the story is, quote, riddled with gross inaccuracies. Over the past decade, the president has paid tens of millions of dollars in personal taxes to the federal government. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
The executive editor of the New York Times says the paper will be publishing additional articles about its findings in the coming weeks. Tonight, President Trump is defending his Supreme Court nominee. This after Democrats spoke out against federal appeals court Judge Amy Coney Barrett of South Bend, Indiana. President Trump calls Judge Barrett a great choice, saying she has one of the nation's most brilliant minds. He says he will stand behind her if she's attacked by the opposition. Meanwhile, Democrats like Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer are making their stance very clear.
Put someone on the court whose views are the exact opposite of Ruth Bader Ginsburg at a time when she asked, as our dying wish, that we wait till the next election to choose somebody is just appalling.
Schumer calls the nomination process illegitimate, but Republicans have the majority in the Senate and are backing the president. 48-year-old Barrett, a devout Catholic and former clerk for Justice Antonin Scalia, could reshape the court for decades with a lifetime appointment, pushing it further to the right. Paperwork for the nomination could be delivered to senators as early as Monday, with meetings beginning Tuesday and a vote possibly happening before Election Day. The president's nomination of Amy Coney Barrett is getting an enthusiastic thumbs up from students at Notre Dame, where she teaches law.
When registration opens every year, her class fills up within seconds, and that's because people recognize that she really is at the top of her field.
It makes my experience as a law student, even better than what it's been the past few years. It puts the law school at the university on an even bigger map than what it is now. It's something that, I think years and years from now, it's just going to have a very positive impact on not only me, but the whole community, the whole university.
Students say Judge Barrett has not discussed the nomination much with her classes, focusing primarily on her lecture material. She has not said what she will do with her teaching position if she gets confirmed by the U.S. Senate. In less than a week, you will be able to see every complaint that has been filed against Metro police officers. IMPD is striving to make reforms with the new transparency portal. But as our Kelsey Anderson tells us, some say the change could bring about problems for officers.
On August 10th, the City County Council approved the IMPD Transparency Portal to go live on October 1st. As it stands right now, and according to the meeting minutes, the director of the board will provide a monthly report of all citizen complaints against IMPD officers. The report will include the officer's name, rank, and whether the complaint was not sustained, exonerated, or withdrawn. I spoke to Reverend Charles Harrison about the portal, and he says he has mixed feelings.
Well, I think it could be a good thing in the sense I think the public does have a right to know if there are officers who continually get complaints against him or her that are legitimate. I don't want the transparency portal to be used as a tool or a weapon to continue the attacks against police. I don't think that's very healthy for the community.
I spoke to a member of the Citizens Police Review Board, and she says this change is just another step towards the transparency that the city has been working to achieve. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. The IMPD Transparency Portal will go live on October 1st and will be accessible on the city and county websites. Kyle.
It was a very nice Sunday here across central Indiana. Many locations made it into the 80s, and that might be the last time for a while. You're going to need that jacket probably by tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures right now, 68 degrees for us in downtown, 67 in Lafayette. You got cloudy skies. You had a little bit of rain earlier. Meanwhile, it's fairly clear in the Bloomington area and a pair of 6s on the thermometer there. Mostly cloudy skies for us tonight. A few showers. Many areas will stay dry for the majority of the night, with those temperatures only dropping into the upper 50s to around 60 degrees. Here's a look at TrueCast. We'll start you off at 5 o'clock in the morning. Very light showers, but you can see that shield of rain that now is back into portions of Missouri and Illinois, getting a little closer here to the state line, moving back into the Lafayette and Monticello areas as we get to 6 o'clock in the morning. May see a couple of showers around Indianapolis. The bulk of the rain, though, still across the western half of the state. Then as we get through the morning hours, we'll continue to see that rain expanding eastward here by about 8 o'clock in the morning around Kokomo, Peru, Indianapolis, stretching down into Shelbyville, Columbus as well. And Columbus still dealing with some of that rain here as we go toward about 10 o'clock in the morning, but it will start to shift off to the east fairly quickly. By the time we get to the lunch hour, just a couple of light scattered showers left for most of us. That shield of rain over around Richmond, Connersville, and pushing into Ohio. By tomorrow afternoon and evening, may even see a little bit of sunshine out there. But don't let that fool you. The temperatures are going to be much cooler. As far as that rain potential, we will take anything we can get. We're looking at generally about 3/10 to a half inch of rainfall here as we go throughout our Monday. So temperatures start off not too bad, but they're really not going to go anywhere. Holding here in the middle to upper 50s. It's going to be breezy as well. Those winds out of the northwest that at times will gust over 20 miles per hour here, bringing in that cooler flow of air, and we'll still be breezy even as we go into tomorrow evening. And that cool temperature is going to be sticking around here because of that north and northwest flow. Our high 65 on Tuesday, even though we'll see a little more sunshine. Average high is still in the 70s. We'll be close to 70 on Wednesday. And then look at that by Friday and Saturday. Highs only in the 50s. Another chance for showers coming our way by Sunday. Stay with us. Brad Brown is up next, and he'll have highlights from today's Colts game.
Another perfect Sunday weather-wise for football. Lucas Oil Stadium was wide open this afternoon. Nearly 7,500 fans were in there for the Colts game against the Jets. People cheering for the home team had a lot to like today. Brad Brown shows us how it all added up to a big win.
The Colts expect to win every week, but this Sunday, pretty much everyone else expected Indy to win over the Jets, a team in disarray through the first 2 games. It took a couple of possessions to get things dialed in, but once the Colts settled down, it was a very dominant day. 36-7 the final, the most impressive of Indy's 3 games to start the season.
All that matters is that we score 1 more point than the other team. So I'd like them to keep this up. Obviously, the standards are high and the expectations are high. So, but it's play good football, play winning football, whatever it takes to win the game.
Phillip Rivers put together a 3rd straight solid, although underwhelming numbers-wise, performance. Just 21 attempts, only 217 yards, but he only missed on 4 passes, over 80% completion again.
It's always been about winning and always about the team, and it still is and always has been. I mean, there was a time in Athens, Alabama, and, we threw it 7 times in a playoff game where you could have thrown it a bunch when college coaches were there, and it ended up like, we didn't throw the ball. It's like, Dad, let's keep running it. They can't stop it.
Running back Jonathan Taylor found the end zone, part of a day that saw the Colts accumulate 119 yards on the ground.
Those short yardage situations, whether we're on the goal line or whether we're midfield, those got to have the situations. We always talk about in the running back room. You just got to find a way. And that's one of the biggest things. And luckily, they always say, you can handle 1 man. And that's just the biggest thing. So if you see that man, crashing down hard, that's something you have to do.
The defense shines for a 2nd straight Sunday. Xavier Rhodes started the afternoon with his first career pick-6 touchdown. That would be the first of 2 interceptions on the day for the Colts' most experienced secondary defender. T.J. Carey was another new addition to the Colts D this season. He got a pick-6 of his own to close out the 3rd quarter. That would take away any doubt about the result and also put on notice all of the teams coming up next to face this Indy defense.
Hustling is a part of interceptions and making big plays. And then the interception drills, we always do tip drills, going up and getting the ball drills, distraction drills. Those are things that we consistently do.
Having a pick 6, putting points on the board on the defensive side of things, helping the offense out. And also the 2nd pick is stopping them from scoring, putting points on the board. So both was major, both was big to help the team.
The Colts continued one of the more impressive streaks in the NFL this season. Through the first 12 quarters, the offense has had 0 3-and-outs for a punt. They're the only team in the league to do that at this point. It gets a little more interesting with the next 2 on the road, including a trip to Chicago, as the Bears are 3-0. That'll be a good one for Week 4 to start the month of October. At Lucas Oil Stadium, Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Over the next few months, Franciscan Health is holding several drive-through flu vaccine clinics. Today's clinic was held at the Franciscan Health Mooresville Medical Pavilion on Hadley Road. Several people came out today waiting in their car to take advantage of the opportunity to get their flu shot. We talked to one woman who says it was quick and easy, and she's glad she got it done.
Just to keep ourselves healthy, we'd rather have a flu shot and not get the flu than to not be protected. I've gotten one every year for many, many years, so it's just routine.
Franciscan Health is holding these clinics over the next several weekends in Greenwood, Carmel, and Indianapolis. You do need to bring your insurance cards to avoid any charges and dress appropriately to ease the administration of the vaccines. Only patients 6 months and older can be seen. Kyle.
Big time changes in our 7-day forecast. Those temperatures going to get a whole lot cooler here. A high of just 62 tomorrow with some areas of rain around. Then much of the week is going to be dry with highs only in the 50s here as we get toward Friday and Saturday. Even by Saturday morning, we are looking at those lows that are going to be in the 30s. So maybe some patchy frost, a little early to be talking about that, and a chance for a few more showers by Sunday.
All right, Kyle, thank you. And thank you for joining us. Good Morning Indiana starts at 4:30.